see the bird. But anyways, so I'm coming here on YouTube. I'll probably be more consistent on YouTube than on TikTok. I bangs with TikTok, but I feel like TikTok's a little bit off versus how it was like when it initially came out. Like now it's a little like you got to go by the rules, I think, in my opinion. I don't know cuz like I was pretty much talking about I was ranting about how I was feeling for the past few days about how I feel like there needs to be a level of understanding on how we need to govern ourselves, and it starts with the foundation, like there's crimes that are happening and we need to like focus on how to mitigate that. That's all I was talking about. But anyways, I don't know. I'll see if I can get the video and upload it on my YouTube instead. But today I wanted to talk about Kanye West. That's what I really wanted to talk about. And this video will be named A Letter to Kanye West because essentially I just want to like give my 2 cents on it. And I really do feel like I've been, I don't want to say pressed. I want to say like called to talk about it, but it's a free world, you know? Or at least I'm claiming it's a free world for me, and I'm not allowing myself to be, bound by whatever is going on. You have to put yourself in a box so that you don't get. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just gonna say what I have to say, and move along, and that's it. All right. So, what are you doing? Like, it's not really a laughing matter, you were put here on this earth to transform. You were blessed to be given the opportunity to allow yourself to transform, this world, the people around you, but yet you are mishandling your power, and it's not fair. It's not fair because regardless of what you think or how you act or how you move, it matters. I feel like and you're right, I shouldn't be talking about people, but it is what it is. That's what we do. How else are we going to help each other if we don't talk to each other about how we feel so that we can make a change? If I feel something strongly, I'm going to talk about it. I mean, I do think that there are times when, it's not my place. Like, this is not my place. I don't know the man. The man don't know me, but like, we share this world. We need to share the road. If I'm doing something wrong, I need whoever to come to me and tell me like, hey, Natasha, like what you're doing is wrong. Like you need to go this way, you need to go that way. And sometimes, yes, I can be a little bit harsh, like with my delivery sometimes. Not to be not it's not on purpose. It's just how it comes out. Like that's and that's how I like sometimes that's how like I relate to people like Ye, because he just lets whatever comes out, like whatever he feels, whatever, but I do feel like to a certain extent you need to learn how to kind of like filter it. I don't know, maybe because I don't really have much attachments, but he has like attachments, like he's a father, he's married, he has a business, he has a name already, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have a lot more to lose per se. Like I'm just a normal girl. I could say whatever I want to say at the end of the day. TikTok is trying to restrict me, but it's okay. Y'all can keep your little app anyway. I just re-downloaded it. I deleted it actually, and then I re-downloaded it. But I don't think that app is for me. You know, I mean, maybe in the future, we'll see. But it was definitely a big distraction in the past. But I'm diverting back. Let's start this over. Okay. Letter to Kanye West. Letter to Kanye West. What are you doing? You deserve to be so much more better than what you're allowing yourself to be. Do you not know the power that you hold? The power that is fixated on your life. The sacrifices that were that was made for you to excel, to be exalted. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. And you're misusing it. You're misusing your power. You're misusing your influence. You're misusing everything that was given to you. Why? You know, I can be a little harsh. You know, I'm not trying to be, but you know, like get it together. Get it together, please. You know, um, last night I couldn't sleep. My nose was blocked, not really understanding why. So I sat up and I was like, you know, thinking, let me pray because ain't no way I'm feeling this way. So I sit up and I'm talking to God and I'm asking, what is this? Like, why can't you let me sleep? And this man comes up, you know, and before that I saw a video of him wearing the black joint, you know, the Ku Klux Klan, you know, but he was wearing it in all black, you know. I don't know, like, does representation matter? Does what you wear matter? Does the colors matter? You know, does all of that matter? Sure, I think so. It puts out some type of frequency. What is your intention? What was your intention for all of that? Like, what are you trying to put out? What is the purpose? What a time to be alive, right? Maybe in another life, another time, you know, you could have played around, but like in this life is different, in my opinion, at least. Like, because it's a time for you to change trajectory of the past, of things that happened in the past. You now have that power that your oppressors that have put upon you. You have it even more. You have more than what they can even bargain for. Like, what? You're in a position of immense power and you're using it and taking it for granted, and you're taking and using the people that you work with, and you are like mishandling those relationships regardless of what went down. But you know, you need to cool your temper. You know what I'm saying? Relax. You know, like simmer down a little bit. I mean, I don't expect people to all be like the same, you know, because if we were all the same, then there will be no real change. There won't be no real dimension. There won't be depth, you know? Which I get. I get that. But you've been in this space for so long now. When are you going to get out? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay in that space? I don't know. You tell me. So as I was sitting up in my bed and I was thinking about it and I was praying to God, like, why can't I sleep? And you come up. I'm like, okay, so how are we? What? I mean, so I was sitting up and I heard the song Let me see if I can play it.
I've been going through something.
All right. Well, I was mainly hearing the first part, and then I heard the evils of Lucy all around me. So essentially, we're all here to help one another. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to come in unity to help one another. You know? We all got pieces of the pie, trying to put it together and make one big masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They won't, Cooley. They won't. I don't care what they do. I don't care if they trying to seize my throat, my mind. And I get it. I hear you. I hear you. I feel you. I know. I see you. Like, I understand. But don't let pain rule you. Like, do it in another way. Do it in another way. Even me. Like, yesterday, the video, maybe I could have been a little bit understanding, Because sometimes people are just not, they're just not, like, right. They're evil. But at the same time, I don't believe in evil. I don't believe that it needs to be a thing. And that's just the truth, you know? But like when I do see it and it does present itself, it's like, dang, like what am I supposed to say about it? How am I supposed to like go about this? Like it's real. It's there. Like I see it. I sense it, you know? So it's like, how do I go about that type of thing? It's the same thing, angel in disguise. That's how I see you. You're not evil. You don't mean harm. You don't want to do bad things. You don't want to project negativity. I know you want to be that person. But sometimes when you're surrounded by the opposite of what you want, you're going to get the opposite of what you want, So when I was sitting down and I was just listening, I heard, you need to go home. You need to go home. You need to go home. What does home look like for you? What does that mean? Like, I don't know what that means. What is home to you? It may be your hometown. It may be your childhood home. It may be a place that you used to go to that you felt safe. I don't know. What is it? Where is it? And then hopefully when you get there, you can then identify your true purpose. Like get back to who you once were by being reminded by the initial promise or the initial plan. Like what was the initial plan that you had? I have faith in you. I have faith in all of you. I have faith that we can all persevere and move on and get to the promised land and get to the place that we were destined to be. I know we will never stop. I know we won't fail because we're here. We're here. We made it. We made it. You made it. So act like it. Not being that person, When are we gonna get to that point where, we get there together? I know sometimes it may seem like people are against us, they're not on the same page with us. But it doesn't mean that we have to fight them, I don't want to fight nobody for real. Like, I don't like the idea, the concept of war. I really don't. I don't want to. I don't like the idea of it. But like, that's what they say, right? They say we have to fight. We have to fight to get to where we need to go. We need to fight to figure out how to get from point A to point B because we weren't given the grace to ease on in. It's always force. It's always fire. You always had to break things down before you could build stuff up. But why can't we just start from the beginning where everything's all nice and peaceful? Why can't things be peaceful? Why can't we have what we were supposed to have without having to fight for it? Especially if it's ours, right? Like I should just be able to just gain momentum just because I am who I am, because God said that I am who I am. Why I gotta fight for it? I should just be to be able to obtain, to gain. You know, if I lose, it's for my gain. Everything's for my good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, find your way back home. Find your way back to your heart space. And leave your heart space open. Don't allow that version of you, that lower cardinal version of you, to overrule. Your job is to integrate all aspects so that you can be able to operate at the highest level that you know that you can operate in. If it ain't that, then you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If you're just operating on that cardinal space, those desires, those impulses, you know, it's not gonna help you. You're not gonna go nowhere for real. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You're just gonna keep going in a circle. Oh, that's beautiful. You know, I don't want to keep going in a circle. I feel like I've been going in a circle forever. Aren't you tired? Like, you know, and I don't want to bring her up, but I have to. She loves you, and you can't do that to her. You know, you can't do that to her. She did this for you, and you're just taking her for granted. That's what a lot of you guys do. You know, I see the spring is here, you know, and she's blossoming, but a lot of her trees are broken. Like, a lot of her branches fell off, and no one's replanting, regrowing nothing. You know, but you're so quick to take, but not quick to replenish. You know, and she willingly gives just so that you can gain. Yet you still are misusing. Like, why are you misusing? And I think it's okay. Like, I think there's cycles to everything, you know, and I think that it's okay to misuse. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to have those moments where even like being evil too, like, or quote unquote evil, you know, God uses those people the most. You know, God uses them the most because I feel like it's the greatest, that's like the greatest transformation, going from like evil to good, or bad to good, or whatever, like going from one perspective to another, because it then shows that when you do have the ability to just transmute that energy, you understand that it just allows for a great massive amount of growth. Massive. It's massive. You know, and not only, and when it's massive, it like permeates the veil, the wall, for everybody. Like, that's why I'm talking, because is you talking and saying what you're saying is doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody. It affects everyone. You know, like, you can't be selfish at this point. You're at an age, a time, a cycle where you're just past that stage. Like, at this point, I feel like I just keep running into the same type of energy. God, like, that's the energy. It's like very powerful people that has the ability to shift a room, or, and like, they're able to like make stuff shake, but they're direction is wrong, because a lot of times it's because of some type of like trauma that they went through or they're going through, that they stay stuck in some age. Like they don't know how to. So then I come in. That's where I come in, and I kind of like help dismantle it. Hopefully I help dismantle it, because you have to like do your part too. You got to listen, and you have to act on like what is being told to you, you know what I'm saying? So like there was this one guy, he reminds me of Kanye. Like I remember when he came in and he was like, what's your birthday? And I told him. He was like, oh, you're ruled by Mars. I was like, how did you know? And of course he is like someone that is like a master. He even gave me like documentation on like journals on how to like shift, you know, like using tapping and voice subliminals, and he was like really big on like that type of stuff. So you already know he was on some other stuff that other people wasn't on. And like we got in, I guess you could say we got into it for a short amount of time. Like I always get into it with people like that because we always end up clashing. Because at the time he was like really big on Abraham Hicks, and at that time I was no longer there. Like I understand where they are coming from, like their ideology, but if I'm being truthful or understand, like if I'm trying to understand or grasp the concept of Abraham Hicks, is really more so geared towards your desires, your lower self, you know. I feel like a lot of people like to stay there, but there's really no reason for you to stay there. You're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to be going up and down, side to side, diagonal, you know. You're supposed to turn around. You're supposed to like be constantly moving, maneuvering, pivoting. You know, that's the whole point, so that you can transmute this energy. But if you're always like at the bottom, always trying to like do the same thing over and over again in that same, it's good to stay in one place and energy for a short amount of time, you know, or a certain amount of time. It could be years, months, days. It depends on where you're at and like where you're supposed to go, because some things don't happen microwavable, you know, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Some things take months, years, decades, centuries for them to happen. But I think we're at a time now where things are moving really, really, really fast, so like it's more easier for us to transmute. I think that's why like it's just so different now. Our ancestors had to go through years, generations of built up of anchor just to like transmute that energy now, you know, to build and create something more monumental, you know. And now we have literal power in our hands and we're just misusing it. I don't understand. Please, somebody explain to me. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, why are we choosing to do this to ourselves? Because it's not just him. It's not just him, you know? And when I told the young man, you know, like, hey, I'm not about that Abraham Hicks stuff, you know, I'm past that. You know, I think that's where the disconnect happened, because he was so fixated on it. And once I stepped away, you could just see the decline. I love it. I love when God like comes in and just like shows up and shows out. You know what I'm saying? Like who you thought you was? You thought you was a god. You thought you really was that person. You thought nah. Like sometimes I love how God uses me, you know, a form of karma for people. And some people really need it. Some people really need to get shaken up a little bit to really see like, hey, you're not on the right path. You really think you are, but you're really not. You're really not. And you need to get on that path so you don't miss the train. You don't miss the next exit because you can keep going back around, you know, which is great. It's fun going back, you know, it's nice. Like it's wonderful because you get to learn so many lessons. You get to grasp and you get to go back and retrieve things that you've lost, which is great. But after a while, it's like, okay, I picked up everything, I dropped everything, you know, what's next? Don't you want what's next? Don't you want to see what's next on the other side? Don't you want to experience something that you never experienced before? Like, do you want to keep experiencing the same thing you've been experiencing? I feel like you think you've already experienced all that you needed to experience, which is nothing really great. Because from what I'm really seeing or hearing, you know, you just keep reliving the same trauma. It ain't nothing real good that you're experiencing, for real. Like, when are you gonna get to that point where it's like, okay, I want something more for myself. I want something more for my family. I want something more for my lineage. I want something more for my generation. I want something more for my culture. I want something more for my name. I want something more for the people that have laid their life for me, because we're working hand in hand. We're all working together. No one's really gone. No one really leaves nowhere. You know, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all sharing the road. Even though you think that you're, I don't know, like you think you're alone, you're not. There's no such thing. If you're here, you're definitely not alone. If we really go into it, you know, you got your cells, you know, the microbiome, those are organisms, you know, technically you're not alone. But yeah, you get the gist. You get the gist. But yeah, I have faith in you. I have so much faith in you. I mean, obviously, I know you have faith in yourself. But when are we going to get to that point where we're working together, where we're obtaining what we came here to obtain? Like, when are you going to get to that point of not being selfish anymore and like letting go of your pride and ego? Super ego. Why is your ego so big? Dang. Get it together. You got to put your pride to the side. Damn. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. You know? It ain't worth it, and it's not fun doing life alone. It's not fun, even though you're never alone, but like, you get what I'm saying. Why are you coming for people that you've worked with? Why are you coming for them? Why are you setting yourself up for failure like that? Please make it make sense. But yeah, y'all work together. Stop playing. Stop playing like that's not your man's, for real. That you don't really, stop playing like you don't like people. Stop playing like you don't want to work together with people, because you know you do. You know you do. So stop playing. Just get your ducks in order. Get everything put together, and you got this. Like, I have faith in you. I've seen it. We all seen it. All right? Sounds good? Bless, peace, and love, joy, and happiness, tranquility, nirvana. Glory be to God. We honor you and we love you. And I just pray that we continue to move in the likeness of all to obtain what we were supposed to obtain in this life. You know, it's more than just material wealth, even though that's a wonderful thing. But like, what about the other stuff? What about the other stuff you've obtained? The wisdom, the understanding, the knowledge. What about the feeling The heart, the soul, the spirit, the connectivity of it. You connecting to it, you hearing it, listening to it, and following through. What about that? Go back home. Go back to that place where you knew what was up, and you felt you followed through. Follow through on that voice. Follow through on that purpose. Follow through on that spirit. Follow through. Don't fall out. Don't be that person anymore, you know? It's time to change. It's time to pivot. All right? Sounds good? Bye-bye.